Every winter, strange stories surface online. Tales of hunters, campers, and travelers who claim they've seen something unnatural in the woods. A creature so terrifying it's been whispered about for centuries. The Wendigo. Tonight, we'll explore two chilling accounts shared on Reddit. Real people, real encounters, and their stories may leave you questioning what truly lurks behind the dark woods. Story 1. I was spending 3 days kayaking on the Kurong. I was having a great time and really enjoying the serenity and listening to the native birds and just appreciating nature. On the first day, I heard what I could have sworn was a human, not screaming, but like screeching, I guess. I didn't think much of it and kept paddling. I saw what looks like a body close to the shore and found a seal that has been eviscerated. Honestly, this thing was spread all over the beach. No footprints of any kind, just a seal in 100 pieces. After the screeching and the seal, I was a little creeped out and just continued on my trip. Except that I kept hearing splashes from the water in front of me. Yet, when I checked, there was nothing there. The next day, I went out again with the same plan, just paddle until I got tired and set up camp and go to bed. Unfortunately for me, I got stuck on the mud bog and spent a solid hour dragging my kayak across this thing to get to the other side of the water where I saw a deeper channel and a bunch of sand dunes. After what felt like maybe 40 minutes of struggling with my kayak and this bog, I saw a figure atop one of the sand dunes. Logically, it was probably a random tourist like me, or maybe a kangaroo. I stared at it for a while for a second before getting back to trying to cross this bog. When I looked back, it was gone. Weird. Anyways, I set up camp for my last night, and I was a bit creeped out by the seal and the noises and now this figure, so I made sure I had my knife with me. I set up my tent a bit far away from the water in an open area so I can see everything around me. As I was eating dinner, I couldn't help but feel I was being watched. As it was a total fire ban in the area, I didn't have a fire, so I couldn't see much. I chalked it up to nerves and went for a short walk to explore the area I was in and wandered down to the beach. Now, for some context, the beach is loud. You can't hear much other than the crashing waves, which makes what happens next especially eerie. I heard that fucking screech again and looked back to where I came from. Again, a figure was standing right by the path where I walked to the beach. Fuck, that I thought. I pulled my knife out and approached where I thought I saw this thing. There was just a week-old fish that looked like it had been hung on the fence and forgotten. As I walked down the path, I heard what sounded like a kangaroo or a wallaby, just lightly hopping behind me. But when I looked there was nothing. Honestly, I just climbed into my tent and prayed to God that there was nothing around. It's kind of anticlimactic, but nothing really else happened. I think I heard that screeching once more, and then I didn't hear it again. Apparently, there are a few indigenous graveyards in the area. I'm not one for the superstitious kind, but if I'm being honest, this experience really spooked me. Story 2. I saw a Wendigo and I wish I hadn't. I need to write this down before I convince myself it didn't happen. This happened in December of last year. I was visiting my uncle in northern Minnesota, near the Canadian border. He's kind of a guy who prefers solitude, lives in a cabin deep in the woods, no close neighbors, just the trees and whatever lives in them. I never minded visiting, I like the quiet, but after that night, I don't think I'll ever go back. It was the coldest night of the year, at least minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. My uncle had gone into town for supplies, so I was alone. The cabin was warm, the fire crackling, and I was scrolling on my phone when I heard it. Something moving outside. Not footsteps, more like a dragging sound. Slow and deliberate. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then came the knock. Not at the door, at the window. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I froze. My uncle's nearest neighbor was miles away, and no sane person would be out in the cold. The knocking came again. I reached for my flashlight and shined it through the window. I wish I hadn't. There was something standing just beyond the tree line. It was tall, at least 7 or 8 feet, but emaciated. With long, bony limbs, its skin looked frostbitten, almost blackened, and its eyes were glowing, not reflecting light, like glowing on their own, like embers buried in a dying fire. I should have looked away. I should have closed the curtains, but I froze, staring, unable to breathe it in, and then it smiled. Its teeth were too many, too sharp, stretching across its face. It opened its mouth wider than any human should, and then it spoke. The voice didn't match the body. It sounded wrong, like a recording played at the wrong speed, too deep, too garbled. I ran. I grabbed my uncle's rifle and backed into the farthest corner of the room. The knocking stopped, but I could hear it scraping against the wall outside, slow, patient, like it had all the time in the world. I sat there for what felt like hours, rifle shaking in my hand, until my uncle finally came back. The second his headlights swept across the trees, the noises stopped. He found me pale, sweating, and gripping the gun like my life depended on it. I told him everything, and he didn't say a word. He just nodded and checked around the cabin. When he came back, he looked unsettled. There are no tracks in the snow, he said. Nothing. That was impossible. I heard it, I saw it, but there was nothing outside, no footprints, no marks on the walls, just the untouched snow and the silent watching trees. I left that morning and haven't been back since. My uncle still lives there, but he told me something before I left. If you hear it again, he said, don't look, and whatever you do, never let it in. I haven't told anyone else until now, but I know what I saw, and I know it's still out there.